Hello, welcome to, suppose I should move my notes to where I can see them, episode 25 of the Yarnivore podcast. I am Sadie, also known as Sadie Ruin on Twitter and Instagram, and Blue Ruin on Ravelry. I am feeling better. I am. For some reason, I'm very phlegmy right now. Oh well, we'll just keep going, right? Right. I apologize if it annoys you that I am so phlegmy. And you can tell I was cross-stitching last night because apparently everything I brush up against, collecting things, means I'm going to have a bunch of those just hanging out. Sorry, I just hit the camera. I hit the monitor of my computer, which has the camera on it. I'm drinking my coffee. It is yummy. Because coffee is the nectar of the gods, and I need it to keep going. Oh crap, I forgot my finished objects. Hold on a moment. Okay, so, yeah, can't have a podcast without my finished objects, now can I? I was like, I don't have a lot to show today. I was like, why don't I? This is what happens when you start gathering everything while you're still waking up, and then you completely forget about it for a while, and then you go back to do it. It just doesn't work, my friends. It just doesn't work. So, finished objects. I have 2. I'm really pumped that I have finished objects, but I appear to not have my sock blocker here. Where the heck? I have 2. You'd think I could find one, but no. No luck. Okay, well, we're doing this old school. I finished my husband's socks. Here we go. It's the Vanilla Latte pattern. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. I used Lollipop yarn in the Java Jive colorway. And a close-up of the... So that's the pattern here. The patterning. And the color progression. There are 2. He has a really long foot. I did end up with a little bit left over, so I probably could have done an extra repeat of one of the colors in the top here to make the cuff longer, but I have played Yarn Chicken knitting his socks before, and I just didn't feel like it, so I made a shorter cuff. I think in future I won't have such a big problem doing an extra one, because I'll remember this. That, and this is on 2.5mm needles, which I believe is a US 2. Because usually I use a US, or is it a 1.5? Because usually I do a 2.25mm needle, which is a US 1. So is he 1.5 is a 2? I don't know. Anyway, or I mean 2.5. I used a needle one size larger than I do for my own socks because I didn't want to go up to 72 stitches and go down to a 0. Which I know also fits him, but the 64 stitches on a 2.25mm needle just was a little too tight for him, and there's Petrie. I just fed her, so she's stomping around. She hasn't gotten her pill for the day yet, so she hasn't gotten her chicken, and she is not happy about that. So, I went up to a 2.5 and did the 64 stitches, which means it's not as dense, but that's not really a big problem for him. He doesn't really care about the density because he doesn't get as cold as I do. Like, he can go sockless for a lot longer than I can, but then again, I wore socks every day of my life pretty much until I got my tattoo on my foot. Like, I refused to not wear socks in summer. Now I will go sockless in summer, but before, yeah, no. It would be plus 30, plus 35 Celsius, and I'd still be wandering around with socks on in Canada. So, there you have it. So, I don't think it matters that much that it's not as dense as a 2.25. And, quite frankly, it fits his foot great. So, this is going to be my new recipe for him, which is not going down to a 0 and getting, like, this uber dense 72 stitch foot, like, sock, but going up to the 2.5 and getting a little bit of a looser sock, but one that really fits his foot nicely with a 64 stitch. So I finished those, and he has been somewhat impatiently waiting for me to show them on the podcast so he can wear them. And now he can have that. He is, since this is going to go up late, and no one knows where I am anyway, he is on the ship tonight, so I'm by myself, and thusly I don't mind podcasting. Yesterday he got the afternoon off, and called me, so we went out and did a bunch of chores we needed to do. And so we got groceries and did the mail and got Petrie's pills. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Now, I haven't trimmed the ends, but I have woven them in on this because I don't trim the ends until after I've blocked it when it comes to shawls. I finished the Magic Cake ruffle shawl. It is huge. It is about my wingspan. And I'm 5'6" It was really fun to do. I kind of played around right in here by just adding some garter for the sake of it. And I did not have enough to do the full ruffle the way it's written for, but I don't really care. I kind of like the way it does that. I just kind of like it. So this is the entirety of the ball. It kind of makes me feel like a rock star to use up this much leftovers. And the thing is, these have already been in the hubby's square blanket. Most of them, I believe, have already been put into my Cozy Memories blanket. So it's not a big deal that I used up the rest. And it is done, and it is cool, and I don't know if I should give it to a sister-in-law or not. But I have another ball that I made ready to go, so I may start that one, I may not, I don't know. You'll see. But either way, this one's done. I really had fun knitting it, and up until like the last couple rows where you have to, where you make the ruffle, I kind of wanted to shoot myself in the face. When I make another one, I may omit the ruffle and just do some garter there, like garter, and then do like a surprisingly stretchy bind off, or maybe or do an I-cord bind off. I don't know, but what I do know is the ruffle kind of made me want to kill myself. So, metaphorically, okay, it was just, there was so many, and I was already adding so many more. It was just, it took the joy out of knitting, and I'm not going to knit things to take the joy out of it unless I really want the end product. And yeah, what it is worth, what it is not worth, you weigh these things as you do stuff. I am trying to figure out where to set this, and I have no clue. I'm just going to throw it on the floor for now. That's what floors are for, right? That's what floors are for. Okay, so those are my works in progress. I mean, my finished objects. Ooh, Bippy. Perhaps I should have eaten something before I recorded. Oh well. I will have a nosh after, and it will be majestic. Okay, works in progress. Well, since I upset the balance of the force. Damn it. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. Let me just swear at everybody. Come here. In my Fat Squirrel fiber bag, I got some work done on the Cozy Memories blankets, or is it the Blanket Blitz? Blitz blanket. Socksetra is doing this, and she's doing a new blanket thing with it, and I have an innate love of her, so I will probably join that and do that. I actually did several. I finished this one here, which I love. I love this colorway. I think it's either a Regia or an Opal, and it is scrumptious. I love it. This is from my mother-in-law, I believe. These are very much her colors. This one, which I'm 99% sure is another Crafty Girl. This one, which again, I think is my mother-in-law. And then I started this one, as you can see, which is Soft Like Kittens, leftover Soft Like Kittens. The yarn that I will not let die. Right, Annette? No, I'm still using it. I'm still using it. And you know what? When I'm done, I'm going to do some Franken socks and put the rest in there. I will use up every scrap. So this is getting quite substantial. It's hard to show. Here, maybe if I do, there, that works better. So my plan is to make 4 equally long squares, like make 4 squares and then seam them together so that I can have all of these pointing, because I'm neurotic about that, because that is the one thing I'm going to be really neurotic about. So I'm getting pretty decent. I probably want to do, this is probably half the length I want going one way, because I'm going to put it on our bed. I want it to be massive because we have blanket wars, and not only with ourselves but with the pets. So if I'm going to fight Bebop and Petrie and hubby, I'm going to need extra blanket to do so. But I want it nice and wide. I don't really care if it's long. Like, I may add some extra on the top or the bottom, but I really don't mind if it's a square, as long as the square is big enough to be comfy. You know? I don't know. So I did get a fair amount of work on that done this week. It was beautifully wonderful to just chill. Just chill and do some of those while not really thinking very much. Because, you know, I'm not 100%, as you can tell by the fact that I'm really nasally. I feel better. I feel better enough to, like, you know, dye stuff and everything, but at the same time it's like, you know. Not 100%. I can try and pretend, but it's not going to work that well. And then, next up, in my Sewn by Lindsay bag, which has my R2-D2. All about R2-D2 and BB-8. That's my thing. That's my jam. I started for the knit-along, the Yarnivore April Showers May Flowers knit-along. It's actually a yarn-along. You can get away with spinning, crocheting, knitting, weaving, whatever. Use yarn or wool or fiber of animals, and it counts. So, and the hashtag for Instagram and the Ravelry tag are Yarnivore ASMFKAL. I've been looking for the perfect pattern for these, and I thought this works perfectly. I am doing the Wildflower Socks by Fawn P. There's a shot. They are a free pattern on Ravelry. I am using my Starman colorway in the baddie sock because I had a skein that I was like, I'm not even going to pretend I'm not going to put this. I'm just keeping it because I need one, because David Bowie. And so I'm trying. Okay, Dawn. I'm still not 100% sold on 2 at a time, but I'm giving it another shot with pattern pair to see how I like it. I'm going to cast on a single sock probably tonight because I just decided on a different sock that I want to start. But this pattern is super easy. Like, if you're looking for an easy pattern with some interest in it, this is perfect. And it's great for variegated yarns because, as you can see, you get these little wildflowers, right? And they're very easy to do. There's no lifting or anything. And they are perfect for variegated yarns because you don't need a lot. It doesn't take away from the interest. It adds a nice little pop of texture. I'm doing it on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. These are my Caspians in the 48 inch, I believe, 47, 48. I've got 2.5 millimeter needles to 47. Just in case I want to have more than one on the needles. I don't know. I'm getting used to it. Someone asked on Instagram how I get it done with all the acrobatics, and the thing is, I use the Knitting Expat Mina Phillip, Mina 86 on Ravelry, her free 2 at a time sock recipe, which says that you knit the ribbing before you put it on your big needle, and that does help me out. Also, I have not separated these from each other, like these little rolls. I rolled one from one side and one from the other side, and because I want to have the leftovers be all together. That's my own foible. That is no one else's foible. That's why I think Patton's Crow would probably work best. So they're joined, but with the way this is dyed, it doesn't matter if they're, as you can see, it doesn't change the knitting process or the way the yarn pools. It's just a matter of, I wanted to keep it so I had everything together when it was done. Because I'm neurotic, I have problems. I have problems of organizational matters. I know this is going to come as a shock because my place is such a mess. Like, it's really messy, but I am an organization hound. I love to organize stuff. There's nothing better than an alphabetized CD rack or bookshelf, and I used to do that to calm myself down. I would reorganize my CDs and my bookshelves. I don't anymore, but man, that always helped me out. Why am I so blown out? Is it the... There, that's a little better. Lighting issues because I am recording on a day that it is not 100% sunny and the sun is moving. Alrighty, now the next, so you hadn't seen that one, which is kind of cool, and you haven't seen the one I'm about to show you, but it also has a little bit of stash enhancement, a little bit of haul, because I got a bag from Mina Makes. Mina Makes bag, and it is gorgeous, and it came, and I squeed. And it's, the fabric feels really lovely. I think it's a stiffer fabric. I'm not sure if that's her interface. No, that's the fabric. It feels like a microfiber. It's just wonderful. So it came, and I knew it needed something special to be in it. And I had already decided that I was going to cake this, and I caked it, and then I put it on Instagram. And just for the record, that was one of 4 cakes that is going to be the Jewel cardigan. There you go. Isn't it pretty? I think it's pretty. It's by, hold on, come here. It's like 80 pages long. Christina Korber-Reith, aka Strick Aus Zeit. Strickauszeit. Very German. Very Germanic. And there's a lot of charts in this. It's a paid for pattern, so I can't tell you, but, you know, and I thought, wow, this is really scary, but then I looked back at it, and it was each chart actually represents different sizes, so it's not as freaky. It's just, instead of doing in the brackets size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals this many stitches, she made a chart for you, which makes more sense to me in the long run anyway. But I really love the aesthetic, and I'm pretty sure it'll work beautifully with hand spun. It's very simple. I waffled for a long time on which on which pattern to pick. So here is my huge ball. This is my huge one. The other 3 are smaller than this, but this is a big bugger. And I figured I'd start since you start the body. Is this seamless? I'm sorry, let me just keep asking questions of myself that I don't have prepared for you. Top down in one piece with no seams. First, the body, collar, front and back are completed with one piece. The shape shawl collars work lengthwise simultaneously with the fronts, becoming the button band and buttonhole band. From pockets are worked as you go while increasing at the hips, creating an A-line shaping. After finishing the body, stitches are picked up along the armhole for the sleeve. The sleeve cap is formed with short rows. Then sleeves are worked top down seamlessly in the round. The collar and cuffs are worked 2x2 ribbing. The front and back features wide ribs at varying widths. The sleeves are worked in stockinette stitch to the cuff. I really like the varying width of the piece for the different ribbings. So this is the back, and I just started the armhole shapings on the back. You can see the ribbing is not very drastic, which is nice. So I'm essentially that's where I am on the back, right there. And I just love the way this is knitting up. This is 8 different, or no, is it 8? Is it 5? 4? I don't know. It is several different bumps of Into the World that I used Tracy or Schnuffeltier. Her special how to blend for a sweater, how to use single bumps to make a sweater quantity. And then I spun it according to her special episode, whatever, instructions, ideas, rules, whatever. I did it that way, and subsequently now I'm knitting it, and it is looking like it's supposed to be all together, and not like I just went, you know, crazy and put together a bunch that shouldn't be together. It has been very lovely, and so I watched all of Making a Murderer on Netflix. We will not discuss that. I discussed that with my friend Christy because, like, she and I were like this when it comes to that stuff. But no, we will not discuss that in public because I disagree with the documentary. Which is weird because usually I'm on the side of the person. I also had a very hard time listening to it, and you'll know why if you've watched it, because yeah, no. Kill as many humans as you want. You touch an animal, I will screw you up. But so after that, I needed something light and fluffy, and I'm like scrolling through what I can watch, and sure enough, for some reason, I came to rest on The Great Baking Show. The Great British Baking Show. Now I'm obsessed with it. I think I watched 3 episodes last night, and I stayed up way too late, and it was like, I have to find out who wins the biscuit challenge. Like, and I'm sure they're old, and I'm sure all the British viewers, if I have any at all, are like, dude, that is old. But I'm loving it so much. Thank you, Netflix. Thank you. So, those are my whips. And now we go into the misc. I have a misc thing. I did talk about the knit-along. Everybody, join the knit-along. Remember, as long as you can BS it into being about April showers or May flowers. So flowers, rain, thunder, lightning, a specific flower color. Like, oh, this reminds me of the color of an iris. Well, good for you. That works. Or if the yarn itself is named, like if it's like spring bouquet, then just say the yarn is spring bouquet. You can knit whatever pattern you want with it. You don't even have to try on that. It says here that I have a Q&A. So let's go with the Q&A. I would like to take time to say that there were owl sock blanks, like stenciled owls. They will be back. I am doing up some today. I will do up more if people like them. And comment if you want them, because, or not if you want them, but comment if you're interested in that stuff, because they're very labor intensive. They, like, I have to do them twice, and they're labor intensive. Like, I mean, there's a reason they cost so much money. There's a reason Gail's sock blanks cost $33. Her work is amazing, and I think you should buy Gail's sock blanks. But if you're big into sock blanks and you want some of mine, do tell me if the owls interest you, because I'm sure they'll be gone fast. The other ones were gone fast, and I was like, wow, that hasn't happened in a while. Anywho. I'm getting to the Q&A. I know I should have loaded it up already. Bindi J asked, are you going or did you go to Comic-Con in Seattle? My granddaughters have spent all the days there taking in a bunch of talks and enjoyment themselves. They dressed up as different characters every day. Seems like something you might enjoy. Yes, that's the Emerald City Comic-Con, which occurred last week, and guess what? I was dead sick, and we did not know about it, so we did not buy tickets. Tickets go on sale, and they're gone fast. That is the nature of all Comic-Cons. I know, the geeks come out in droves. It's like, you know, a pile of Volmice in front of, you know, Canadian or US knitters where we can't get it very easily. It's like, yoink, we're done. We're done. It doesn't even last. So, yeah, we do want to go next year. Next year is probably going to be what we can plan, because it happened last week for this year, which kind of made me sad, because I know that Evil Inc., which is one of my favorites, was there, and I couldn't go, and yeah, but I wasn't well either, and so it was probably a good thing that we didn't have tickets, because then I would have felt bad for not going. And the hubby had duty, and yeah. But there's your question, there's your answer. If you have a question or something you want to ask me, please feel free to post it in the Ravelry group. Our Ravelry group is Yarnivore. Come join the group. We have a little over 800 members. Once we hit 1,000, I'll probably do a big giveaway. So all the more reason to come join. And then I have a little haul, if you will, or stash enhancement, which I think this is the last of it. I think. And the only reason I have this is because I ordered it while I was in Canada, like a long time ago, because it's died to order. And I was like, oh, I should just order it to Canada, and because then my mom can grab it and bring it to me or whatever. And I looked at the shipping, and it was actually cheaper to ship it to the US by $2. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll just send it to myself. And the downfall of being lonely, and I'm sure some of you who have husbands who travel or husbands who are away, I know I've discussed it briefly with a friend of mine. When they're away, you tend to buy stuff because you're filling the void, right? That's probably what half my yarn is. It's like, oh look, my husband's gone, let me buy 18 skeins of something. But because I was in Canada and I was missing him and I couldn't sleep, I ended up with a bunch of mirabilias, and here's some of the yarn I ordered. It's from Ancient Arts. They die to order, and with the conversion, it was actually quite cheap for me to buy from them, which is awesome. They're out of Calgary, I believe. Or no, they're out of Alberta. Is it old Alberta? They're out of Alberta somewhere, so they're Canadian, and I got a holla at my Canadians because, you know, I love them. I miss them. I want to come home. It's Nature, Inspiration, and Glorious Color, and for some reason, two of these colors reminded me of Andre the Giant. Bev, thank you, by the way. And so I had to get them, and that was French Bordeaux. That's true to color right there. This is an 80/20 BFL, Superwash BFL nylon, which I loved. It's 372 yards, or 340 meters, and I kind of want to make love to it. And the other one is Beaujolais Nouveau, and little known fact, Andre the Giant was French, and he liked Beaujolais. So these are my Andre the Giant related purchases, I guess. This is also the 80/20 Superwash Merino, oh no, this is Superwash Merino. That one was Superwash BFL. And I think these are going to end up being like a shawl or something. I don't know. I love them together. So this is Beaujolais Nouveau. which is a gorgeous shaded purple, and that's French Bordeaux. So these are my winey color. Like, look at how gorgeous that is. Look at it. It is so soft. So soft. It's just, we'll just go right there for the time being. And the last one I ordered, which was really a splurge, but I just kind of fell for it really hard, is the Great Blue Heron, and I got it on the sparkly base, which is 84% superwash merino, 16% stellina sparkle. It's a 3-ply, 372 yards, 340 meters, 100 grams. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Back here. Yes. You get these gorgeous grays and blues with hints of like this mustardy yellow, and then you've got this really deep dark purple here, and it's all sparkly, and it makes me think of Tragically Hip songs. And it also wants to be a shawl. Apparently I'm going to be making all the shawls. This is why we're baggy shirts, my friends. They all want to be shawls. Maybe I'll put them all together and do like a 3-color, maybe I could do another color affliction. Oh, so pretty. So worth the wait. Like, I mean, okay, yeah, it's April and they came, but it was under a month. They're dyed to order, and they are so amazing. I can tell you right now, I'm going to be ordering way more from Ancient Arts. Way more, because I love them. I love them. And they're Canadian, so raise the roof for that. That is everything I've got, I do believe. So until next week, happy knitting.